How's it going? Not quite sure I actually believe that because I didn't hear anybody from up top or anybody in the back. So we're going to try this one more time because I don't have a problem with getting back in the car and going back to Delaware. So let's try this one more time. How are you today? See, they know. Y'all can't do it, right? Okay, so when last I was here 4 years ago, one of the things that I mentioned, 3.5, thank you, Tracy, 4 years ago was how hot it was outside. It's not now. Whew, nothing like a nice brisk morning to wake you up and make you realize, yes, I am alive. So today, if you're willing to allow me, I want to, venture into the land of the New Thought pioneers and restoke some of the fire that they had for this teaching and for what they knew consciousness meant. Is that okay? Now, it may mean a few toes may be stepped on. Is that still okay? Yeah, I heard a no. So somebody was like, no. Richard, sing another song. It's all good, though. It's all good. So this Friday is what? Valentine's Day. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, at least not the way people typically do with the whole, be my Valentine. No. Now, the reason I say this is because, and this is going into where we're going to talk about today, is the idea of what does it mean to be Valentine, right? And I'm not talking about the person. Just to be clear, I'm not talking about being St. Valentine. I'm talking about what does it mean to be the essence of what Valentine means. Because like we talk a lot about whether it's just God simply or an aspect of God, love, joy, power, etc. And oftentimes, we separate ourselves from it, right? We make it something to get or somewhere to go to get or something we have to learn in order to be it. However, anybody in here read Lion's Roar magazine? It's a Buddhist magazine, or if you don't read it, you're familiar with it. Thank you very much for that. So, March's issue of Lion's Roar magazine, in bold print, enlightened just as you are, and breathe. Enlightened just as you are. There is no sangha you need to go to, no meditation class you need to go to, no mala beads you need to pray with, there is no incense you need to light. You're enlightened right where you are, just as you are. Now, we may ask, but how is that possible? Like, how is that? There is only one power, God the good, omnipotence itself, demonstrating and manifesting in, through, and as all that is. Are we trying to say that some aspect of God can be less God? Are we saying that some aspect of God must be less light, must be less joy, must be less power? Or are we going to say that, as Eric Butterworth said, you ready for this? Eric Butterworth, in the book Practical Mysticism, says, you see, the allness is totally present. I refer often to Judge Thomas Troward's concept, which I refer to as the unity principle. I think it's one of the great metaphysical ideas to have been expressed. Wherever spirit is at all, the whole of spirit must be. In the unity principle, Judge Troward also outlines that the whole of spirit must be present in its entirety at every point in space at the same time. Meaning, all of God is in your 5'10", 4'2", whatever God, the fullness of, that there can be no part of you that is not what God is. Because if we do that, then unity principle number one, God is all there is. You've broken it. Because now you've said that God is all that is the left side of my body, but this one pinky, like it's missing some spirit. Like I need y'all to pray over it because it's missing something. none of us can be missing any of what God is, because it's all there is. Butterworth then says in The Flow of Life, the word I comes from a Sanskrit root word which means fountain. This is beautifully significant for when the mind is remolded from within, you are synchronized with the omnipresent flow of God, which streams out in the very act of seeing. You see from the consciousness of God. Thus, you actually project this consciousness toward anything that your eye beholds. What you see, you become, because the outforming process of the mind makes it so. So if we use, and slight tangent, whether it is the actual physical eye or the inner eye or the third eye, it doesn't matter, because somewhere we are seeing. The people that have no vision perish. Somewhere we have vision. And that which we have vision about is either life-affirming or non-life-affirming. We get to choose. When we look at life, inner eye or outer eye, and we see lack, scarcity, confusion, whatever, then we're buying into consciousness to create more of it. I will lift my eyes to the mountains, to the hills, from whence comes that consciousness that helps me remain in a consciousness of. See, because if we're walking around like this, and all we're seeing is here, then when someone says, wow, it's a beautiful sky, look at the stars, look at the rainbow, look at the something, I'm like, all I see is dirt, all I see is bugs, what you talking about? You crazy. Like, that's all I'm going to see, because it's what I'm focusing on. It's what I'm anchoring my consciousness on. But if I give myself permission to stand in the truth that says, God is all there is. It's all there is. That means this microphone is God expressing. These glasses, God expressing. This jacket, God expressing. This person, this height, God expressing. Everything is God in expression. Then what am I now invited to shift or change in my consciousness when I look out and see 400 individual expressions of God? There's no more me and other. It's only all of God expressing. It's far easier to find peace and unity and connection and love and joy when I look into your eyes and I know that God, what God is, sees its own reflection in you right now. Namaste. That which is the divine showing up in, through, and as me sees itself outside and it bows to its grandeur. Why do we not bow to our own grandeur then? Like, when do we choose to shift our consciousness and recognize that if God is magnificence, the essence of, then we get to choose to live a magnificent life. Because what it is, we are. See, way back when, Emma Curtis Hopkins, Judge Thomas Troward, Eric Butterworth, the Fillmores, like all of the Ernest Holmes, all these New Thought pioneers, they were no nonsense. Emma Curtis Hopkins said, there is no sin, sickness, or death. That's a pretty much all or nothing statement. There is none, because God cannot be sick, God cannot die, God cannot sin, and what it is, I am. What in our life would change if we adopted that and said, knowing that what I am is God, and therefore all of the goodness of creation is showing up right here, right now. When I think, it's God thinking. When I speak, it's God speaking. When these hands serve, it's God serving. What would change? So today we're talking about specifically, as we already know, Ray loves acronyms. So I made an acronym out of, it should be, I think it's in your program that way, V.A.L.E.N.T.I.N.E, right? So keep in mind, what we're talking about is being, the art of how do I be whatever it is we're going to talk about, right? So if I were to say, What does it mean to be a mom? Like, what does that mean? Is there something specific that you wake up and it's like, okay, I'm a mom. Oh, in order for me to remind myself that I'm a mom, I have to go wake up the children. Like somehow you forget that it's what you are. Whether you wake them up or not, you're still that which it is. Musicians are musicians whether they're playing music or not. It's what they are. That I can guarantee you that if it was raining right now and there was a certain rhythm to the rain, somebody's foot would be like, oh, wait a minute, that's a score. Like, because that's all there is. So we're going to talk about what it means to be Valentine. V is for victory. What does it mean to be victory? Now, there may be a slight and we may say, well, be victorious. And I say, well, okay, I got you, because sometimes we have to play the name game. But if you're being victorious, then there has to be something to defeat. And I'm saying, if what you are is victory itself, then there is no enemy that can stand before you. Like nothing can stand in front of you when what you are being is victory. How many people in here play chess, checkers, tic-tac-toe, something? Reverend Beverly, if I were to say, I want to play checkers with you, and you know for a fact that I can't lose, like you know it, for whatever reason, I can't lose, do you still want to play checkers with me? Okay, see, that's her. I don't even know why I asked you. Why did I know better. The average person... No, but seriously, most of us, if we know that we can't win in the game of Monopoly or whatever it is, it's like it's not fun. Part of the fun is the challenge in. That's why we watch football or hockey or whatever it is we watch, because there's the challenge. And if there's no challenge, it's like, oh, that was it. One move, that was it. I'm not playing. But if we stand in this essence of, this consciousness of what it means to be victory itself, then what around us now changes. Because then, everything we lay our eyes upon, that which is victory itself, sees victory. Everything we speak is spoken through the filter of what it means to be victory in expression. See, if you're going to do that, then you can't talk about losing anymore, because it changes the conversation. How do we start standing in this awareness, this consciousness of that? Because God is victory, the essence of nothing, because there is nothing other than God. So there is nothing that can say, hey, God, I want it. There is nothing, right? It's only God. So God represents victory itself. How do I embody that? How do I bring that into my thoughts, my words, my actions, my interactions with everyone else, who also must be victory in expression? Which means when I get into conversation with someone and they want to talk about being a loser, is it mine to do to help change the conversation, to upgrade? In the same way that we would say to someone, hey, Nana, I think you want to upgrade your phone. Like, nobody uses flip phones anymore. Like, we say this, and I know some of y'all out there do, I was just saying. No, but like we engage in this conversation with folks about our computers and whatever, but not about our spirituality when that's what matters most. When love matters most, we don't engage in the difficult conversations to up-level the game. Awakening. So it is said that in the Buddhist doctrine, the Buddhist teaching, that when Siddhartha Gautama became enlightened, became the Buddha, the awakened one, that so profound was this shift in consciousness that it awakened all beings, past, present, and future. And I specify awakening because if God is ever expanding consciousness, then there is not a point where we have awakened. Om Shanti Shanti. No, we are always growing and improving and shifting. Stop laughing at me, Olivia. And growing and shifting and becoming more and more love, more and more light, more and more joy, more and more power forever. Not just in this body, but forever. L, be life and love. Be life and love. We have the power of life and death in our tongue. Then if you are life, then only speak life. Speak life over every family member, even the ones you don't like. Speak life over every person, even the ones you claim you don't like. Speak life over every situation here in D.C. Speak life over the roof. Speak life over everything. Speak life over the carpet. Speak life and love. Not animosity, not disgruntledness. Now, express it to get it off your chest, but don't make it your mantra. Speak life and love. Be life and love. E, excellence. What does it mean to be excellence? We know that when we talk about someone who dances, oh, she's such an excellent dancer. We hear excellent music. We see excellent art. But if you are going to be excellence, then it means everything you do upgrades to the level of being excellent. When you are washing dishes, you wash them excellently. When you sweep the floor, it is God sweeping the floor, so you do it with excellence. When you are washing windows, you do it with excellence, because God doesn't just half step. Right? God didn't just say, and I'm going to anthropomorphize this for a minute, God didn't just say, okay, I'm going to make some planets. Mercury, Venus, Mars. Okay, whatever. Right? Like there was this consciousness that said, I must create. I must be. I must live. And that's excellence in expression. What in our lives changes when we see ourselves as, because if we had an individual interview one by one, and I ask you what you don't like about yourself, some way, shape, or form, we're going to say things about, I'm not good with numbers. I never remember names. My memory is failing. You're going to have the complaints. But when you are coming from a state of excellence, when that is what you are being, then even in the midst of this, because I can guarantee you, if I go over there and I hit, a master musician can say, I can take that chord and turn it into something. Even though you thought it was discord, I can turn that discord into a harmony. That's excellence. We should be able to do the exact same thing with every circumstance, situation in our life, whether it's dis-ease or disharmony or discord. Turn it back into what we know God is as that thing in expression. The N and the T in Valentine, new thought. Upgrade the level of new thought conversation that we're having. I hear far too many times people saying, unity, or CSL, religious science, agape. It's the best kept secret. We want to shift consciousness on the face of this planet, then we can't be in the proverbial closet of new thought any longer. It's time to step out and shine so brightly that others, wherever we are, wherever they are, and we don't have to say anything, because when we're being it, they feel it. And simply by being in our presence, something shifts and there's an upgrade. They don't need to know what it is. But it's by our demonstrated example that everywhere we step, we leave an energetic footprint of the divine. That soon as someone else steps in that footprint, they're like, ooh, what? Oh, I feel it. I don't know what that was. That felt good. I want to take this patch of land home. Like we should be leaving spiritual marks everywhere we go. Stop playing small. Upgrade what we mean by new thought. Upgrade how we live and how we talk about it. Be inspiration itself. Be insight itself. And be a demonstration of what it means to be connected to intuition. What does that mean? That means there's no more needing some teacher, some minister. One of the things that I tell people is, I'm doing this until I don't need to do this anymore. I want all of you to put me out of this role as minister, meaning when everybody knows their own divinity and are living it and living it oh so well, then it changes how I now minister. So then I can simply become like an auto mechanic or piano tuner. When you say something's out of and you need me to come and help tune it back, you need me to put the carburetor or something, I'm good. But you don't need me to sit in the car with you and navigate. No. I want us to elevate in consciousness to such a degree that we are all practitioners and chaplains and ministers and gurus and all of the names that we use, that we know that we are that for ourselves and that for each other. N, be now. Be present. Be in the moment. When we continue to put our energy in what was or what might be, we're dividing the house. It's like me trying to say, I'm going to go to the left and the right at the same time. Like sooner or later, something's going to give. Like sooner or later, something's going to hurt. Whether it's hurt feelings, whether it's hurt bones, something's going to. So stop tug of warring with past, present, and future. Simply be. There is nowhere in the consciousness of God where God is like, oh man. Because we know, like in the story of Noah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy everything. Because I realized that I made it, and I don't like what I made. I made a mistake. So I'm going to start over. But Noah, you hit the lottery. Because I'm going to save you, your wife, your 3 sons, and their wives. And here's what I want you to do. Here's the blueprint for the ark, and etc. But I'm wiping everything else out. That's a God of regret. That God is an anthropomorphic God that we know we don't do. God is present, always in the eternal now. So what happens when we step into that moment of what is present now? I can't, like in the meditation I said, we breathe. Do we worry about the next breath? How many of us wake up in the morning and say, okay, hold on. I got to save up because I don't know. I'm going to put a couple in here. I'm going to save them because by lunchtime I might need 1 or 2. We don't do that, nor do we say, where's it going? What are you doing? Oh, man. We don't worry about where it's going either. We simply breathe in the present moment. We can't breathe yesterday. We can't breathe tomorrow. We breathe now. So what happens when we bring our consciousness to the point of power? Because this is what we change right here and right now. And lastly, be evolutionary. Be what it means to always be on the cutting edge of growth and change and upgrade. Always be on the cutting edge of being revolutionary and new. New thought should never become old thought. And even when we say new thought, ancient wisdom, I got you. But the ancient wisdom should be applied today in a way that is new and evolutionary today, because we don't say something, new thought, ancient food, and we go and we open up the casserole that was made 100 years ago. The recipe might have been made 100 years ago, but the casserole is being made today anew. So the doctrine, the words, the books, the texts, the Sanskrit, the whatever, that may be ancient and may be old and may be whatever. But if we're not applying it today, if we're not living it today, if we're not doing it in the moment today, then it's not doing anybody any good. All we're doing is reciting quotes and reciting scriptures and changing absolutely nothing. How many of us would go to a doctor if the doctor's advertisement was, hello, my name is Dr. Anderson. I practice medicine that was created in the year 2 BC. I use this chisel and this hammer most of the time. Sometimes this bowl of bugs. Let me help you fix your teeth. How many would go? Why not? Because they're not using new technology to help heal. It happens the same way if we don't keep this new thought philosophy and ancient wisdom current and new and always growing and evolving always. So be evolutionary. Remember that Maya Angelou said, "And still I rise." Keep that in the forefront, and still I rise. When this happens, no, but what God is, and still I rise. When this happens in this situation, in this experience, and still I rise, because that which God is cannot be defeated. That which God is cannot be defeated. That which God is cannot be defeated. And if what God is what you are, then you can't be defeated either by anything. That there is no man, no woman, no circumstance, no situation, nothing that can defeat you. Nothing that can cast you down. That when this is what you are being, victorious, victory itself, awakening, always on the cutting edge. When you are being life and when you are being Valentine, all the time, then you recognize and realize that life is good and oh so good and always good. And so it is.